We have a panel. First up, I'd like to bring our mystery man. He looks very much like a man of mystery, but he is going to be revealed here today. Here he comes. Ladies and gentlemen, your moderator is the managing director of NX Venture Partners from Korea. Parent company NXE just bought Corbit. And that's out there. A lot of you know about that deal, and he's going to come up and command this. He's put the work in. He's ready to do it. Here we go. Let's welcome James Kim, MD from NX Venture Partners. All right, let's hear it. Come on, people. We can do better than that. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for joining us. Next, we're bringing up Maksim Balashevich. You might have read him in Forbes. You might have heard him on RTHK this morning. He is like one of those geniuses of the blockchain world. He is a world-leading expert in Elliott Waves theory and applying it through what he's doing at Santiment.net. So, Maksim Balashevich, come on up and join us. The stage is yours. You've got a whole sofa all to yourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, big welcome for him. Here we go. There we go. Thank you very much for joining us. And we've got Sten Laureyssens. He's joining us today as the co-founder and chairman of Adara.io. He's also the co-founder of Connect.capital. He's an advisor to Storm, one of the biggest projects happening, and he's going to come up, he's going to storm this stage and enlighten you. Sten, come on up. Join these guys. All right. There's one more name up there. Ladies and gentlemen, I thought we were going to have a kiss there. It was a special moment. He's a good-looking guy. I wouldn't say no. But Xiong Lijian is on. We're on the lookout for him, ladies and gentlemen. If you see him, we might even run him up here. But in the meantime, we got a great panel. And James Kim, it's all yours. Take it away.
Well, thank you, everybody, for participating, even though it's not my event. But today, I was thinking what kind of questions to ask and what kind of answers I wished to hear from people. And I'll try to cover what's happening, how the ICO projects happen, because there will be a lot of people in different sectors, different part, or different stage of the investment. So I'll try to start with how these people got engaged in blockchain and ICOs, and what's happening now. I mean, what are they suffering from? And after they're capitalized, what are they doing in their daily jobs? And also after that, I just wanted to take a peep into what they view will happen after the ICO market. So I'd like to call it pre-ICO market, before the funding or before the token sales has happened. And after that, I think there will be a whole different skill sets required and a whole different view on how you should look at those ICO projects after the funding is done. So I'll try to keep in time and ask some questions to start with. So to open up, I'll just ask for some quick introduction of yourselves and what you're doing and how you got engaged into this field. So let's kick it off with Maksim.
I got engaged around 2.5 years ago, and because of existing skills or expertise in Elliott Waves, I was amazed or impressed how correlated.
I'm sneaking back up on stage because I've got our special guest. These are, ladies and gentlemen, let's sneak him on stage with a little applause for Xiong Lijian. There we go. Come, have a seat.
Sorry,
okay.
sorry.
There we go. We found him. Awesome.
Wrong place.
So I was impressed how correlated this Elliott wave theory or crowd sentiment and behavior analytics to Cryptomarket is. And as we know now, after working on a project for quite some time, it's really like amazing data you can take for analyzing the mood of the market. It's maybe one of the best age you can get over your investment decisions. So and then initially I was doing for myself, doing investments and writing blog and articles, and then communities start forming around more. And at some point of time, we came to decisions, okay, let's build it as a platform where we do basically the same, but on a bigger scale, collecting even more information, which we can do now with a lot of money we raised. Last year in ICO, it was $12.5 million. Now it's because of everything grew so dramatically, it's even more money we have on our disposal. So we do collect a lot of data everywhere, like on-chain, crowd sentiment related, and also price volumes from different sources, and providing it as a raw format, a little bit organized to professional or sophisticated traders and investors, and at the same time giving them opportunity not only keep it for themselves, but if they wish, to start sharing it with others, building up a reputation, also sharing and getting feedback on their approach because you need sometimes, especially in crypto, to learn different approaches. Crypto is developing very fast. So it's basically what we're doing now.
Sten?
Pretty interesting, by the way. I really like it. I'm chairman of Adara Securities and Utility Token Exchange. I'm also co-founder of Connect Capital, which is an investment fund that did a lot of investments and helped a lot of ICOs in terms of advisory from pre-white paper to post-ICO. And being a part of a lot of different ICOs in the entire process, we felt that there was a need for a different vertical, which is an exchange, which was probably the only thing that we didn't have in our portfolio that we really wanted to be a part of. That's why we built it together with another team. We built a securities exchange with a heavy focus on actually also the sentiment, but mainly community-driven content generation. And it's really built for data analysis by the user base and algorithmic trading based on the data that we're feeding them and that we're giving them. I think I'll say more on that later. There you go, our mystery guest.
Thank you. Sorry for late. I find the wrong place. Introduce myself.
Oh yeah, so introduce yourself, of course, and then tell us a little bit more about how you got engaged into these ICO projects, because I believe would be a lot of people who are currently thinking, should I do an ICO? Or am I fit for it? So maybe a little bit of your background story, how you got involved into the business.
Okay, let me introduce myself. I'm an investor of blockchain and the Bitcoins, and start my business on 2013. And I run several business on blockchain. One is LoMoStar, which is my titles under my title, LoMoStar. LoMoStar is a platform and the product of an app. It can raise money. It can raise money and form groups, chat groups, and promotion ICOs project. And I have another business of exchange named xstar.io. It's a exchange, a new exchange based in Hong Kong, and I have a fund. I have a fund to invest ICOs and other project, and I think ICOs is a big creation in the world, and I and my team can do more about this, and for other projects, and we welcome corporate kinds of corporate with every teams. Thank you. I'm not good at English, but we have internet teams. So yes, maybe we can talk later after the panels.
Okay, so maybe moving on to the next part. So after these guys are engaged in ICOs and your current business, as a venture capitalist and connected to the NXT company who has acquired Corbit, we do look at coins and read white papers to see what's going on. And a lot of exchanges are picking up coins and listing them on exchanges, but we don't really know what's happening behind the scene after it's invested, or what's happening in your daily life after the ICO is done. So if you can share a little bit more of how ICO projects are operated or running after the investment, it would be nice to see what's happening inside. So anyone?
Well, honestly, quite chaotic. So on one side, you have a lot of resources in your hands. On another side, you're exposed transparently, directly to all your community. And big part of community, And it's split community. One of them are only concerned about profits they can make with your tokens, regardless how many times you repeat, we're building a platform long-term sustainable to give you value. They care about their profits, and it's like you learn in the first stage, maybe 2-3 months, how to deal with it, because it's a very strong pressure. And building products take longer time than providing fast profits. And now I've seen it many times in different projects. They took different routes. You can go for keep pumping with marketing or announcement, and just keeping a very high level of engagement for traders. And it takes you a lot of effort to do it in the right way, and a lot of resources too. Like we're talking about maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars you need to spend on it. Or you rather keep it more or less neutral, and you focus all your efforts to building really like platform, protocols, partnerships, and it takes longer time. So, and this is what happens behind the scene, and people typically don't see it, how the ICOs, which we have hundreds of them working or approaching these problems, they only maybe notice when there is a big announcement here and there, and they think this and that project may be good, and we don't hear from that project they're not so good, which is not often represents the reality. The announcement might come later when you don't expect it. So as a runner of project, you have to deal with many things which you did not think in advance. How to keep engaging community, how to keep building the real product, how to communicate also with other potential partners, and well, much more open to each other in this blockchain world. It did not exist like before. Previously, everyone fight with each other, and here there is still competition, but there is much more also communication. Very new field. We're like learning every month something new.
Yeah, me being an advisor to a lot of projects, I actually confirm what you're saying is, and I think you can make a distinction between, for example, when did they raise their money? Did they raise their money, did an ICO raise their money a year ago? Did they raise their money at the peak when ETH was 1,300, 1,400? And have they then panic sold at 600 at the bottom, and now are sitting on a third of what the money that they raised? This will largely decrease the resources that they have. I think it's mainly a strategy of how much money are you raising, and then what's your strategy? Do you want to be very engaged? And it's true, if you compare this to traditional markets, you have like a direct contact with your investors, with the people using your platform. There's like larger enterprises pay money to get contact with their audience. Here the audience is sitting, like they would knock on your office and say like, hey, when pump, when are you getting listed on Bittrex? Like it's this direct engagement. It's very different, and I think that the biggest problem is during the ICO, they're focused on building a white paper, getting the money in, and then it's like, okay, great, we've got the money. What now? A lot of ICOs don't have that post-ICO vision, and they also don't have the right people in their team to actually make that bridge. They don't have the right community managers. They're like, for them, community management is, oh, we have a few admins in a Telegram channel. That's just the beginning. Like you need and it's pretty interesting. It's actually, a lot of the ICO advisory is I don't want to downtone the value of an advisor, but a lot of the advisory is copy-paste. It's just between the copy and the paste, it's a lot of sentimental analysis. Where's the market? Are we in a bearish market? Are we in a bullish market? It's a lot deciding on what's happening in the market now. It's cycles. But these cycles keep repeating themselves, and if you make the right decisions on should we list, should we not list, should we push this announcement, and I think the biggest thing that you need in your team is someone to analyze that sentiment and manage that community for you, not just in the ICO, but also after. And from this sentimental analysis, you can find a different way of reaching your community, a different way of bringing out announcements, and still you can have an approach, okay, let's blast a lot of money to marketing, if you have that. But if you don't, there's still ways of being creative with this. And I think that's probably the biggest mistake a lot of ICOs make.
So the clock's ticking, so I'll just move on to the next question. And maybe this is the part that I was mostly curious as an investor, because when you're trying to invest in a small startup or a venture company, you usually look at the team, what they have done, and what do you have at this point. So that's why you start from seed, from series A, B, C, and it accelerates. But when you're participating in an ICO, it's a package of seed from series B or C, and you just have to invest everything in together. And you can't even see about the team too much because the blockchain is new, so you can't really ask for experience in it. So, well, it happened, and a lot of it has happened already. So, starting from, like, I call it pure or naked ICOs that doesn't really have any background of business behind it. Starting from naked ICOs, reverse ICO has been a big thing nowadays. But I think as it moved fast already right now, I think it'll move faster. So what do you think will happen to the post-ICO market? And what do you think, in terms of for investors or ICO companies, what do you see the requirements of different skill sets in order to soft land into the existing industries for those ICO companies? Or what would investors have to look into for post-ICO investment deals?
That's a very good question. I'm not sure, I'm convinced we should compare existing industries with what we're building in a cryptocurrency blockchain. Well, cryptocurrency, by the way, is just tokenized blockchain. And I don't basically believe that blockchain without tokenization can survive. But okay, it's a different topic. And what many projects are building in a cryptocurrency space, they're reshaping existing way of doing business. And for this, you also need a reshaped state of mind or reshaped skills. It's a combination of understanding psychology, economy, or token economy. It's a completely new field of knowledge. You did not have it 2 years ago. What is token economy? How to build properly incentivization inside your platform or community. And there is no one who can teach you unless you try building the stuff. So I would say the key skills is to be able to innovate and disrupt yourself like every 3 to 6 months. You learn very fast and many of your ideas fail. No one knows how, for instance, do proper governance of a blockchain project. We don't have it yet. We just have a bunch of ideas. And if you take existing projects for reverse ICO, I'm afraid they will come with existing very, maybe not so rigid, but stable set of ideas how it should work, and it will not work. In a cryptocurrency space, those projects who are really like unicorns or supposed to become unicorns, those who can establish network, mostly open source network, invite others to contribute, to find value for those who contribute, and to share this value like fairly and in a transparent way. It's skills you did not have before. No Facebook, no Twitter, no Google, no Amazon. They don't follow this business model. It's a very centralized way of thinking, building project and distributing the profits. In the blockchain, it's completely different. So I'm not sold out to the idea that existing team skills from previous can bring you success in the cryptocurrency space. It's more like you see their progress and you can try to the community grow and do they really build up something which people are starting to use. I don't know, like you also need new set of indicators to find out if the projects post-ICO are performing. And we are just now also in the process of building up this metrics. They don't exist yet too.
What do you think would be the best, like if you have to pinpoint one indicator, what would be your favorite indicator of measuring the success?
Well, at the moment we try to find out if we can take directly from on-chain analysis as either transactions or daily active addresses, if we really want to pick up one. But still there is no direct correlation to market valuations. There is still like big difference how projects can be valued and what we see on his value. So we're still looking for it.
I think your question of how should investors look at projects post ICO, and that's an answer where also it also counts for people who are running an ICO in terms of how should we think, because that's essentially the biggest thing is it's psychology. These companies, they're going through an ICO, and it's a process that they've never done before and will never do again, but they have no experience in doing any of it. And then once the ICO is over, they need to find their bridge, continuously thinking, how is this investor thinking? What is important for them? And how can we, without speculation, make a bridge between what we actually have created and what they want to see? I think it's difficult to really show all the things that you're building behind the scenes. Because if you say, oh, we're building this and this is our roadmap, then you're adding to speculation. If you're not giving any updates, everyone is like, oh, this project is dead, the developers ran away with the money. Should you follow the CEOs of the companies and look at their Instagram and their Snapchat feeds to see if they're wasting their money on private jets or working? There's a level of privacy that you should probably maintain, but it's maybe a really good indicator. On the other hand, it doesn't mean that if someone is partying a lot that he's not networking or working or doing what he's good at. I think it's difficult, but it's a really good question. I think for me, if I have to pinpoint one, would probably be the way that ICOs engage with their community. Because that's the only direct communication that they have. The way that they target them in Telegram, the way that they want to engage, say, on weekly updates, provide true AMAs with the team, and allow as much like communication coming from two directions. Usually it's a lot of updates like, hey, this is the team and this is what we're doing. But the ICOs that really try to engage with their community and say like, what are your concerns? What are you thinking of? How would you improve our product? What are some of your issues? Because like if Apple could say, have direct communication of this is what I hate about my iPhone, and there would be a way to directly communicate, they would love it. But we in crypto actually have this. You just need to engage it. I think that's probably the way to analyze if it's a good company or if they're lacking behind.
Okay.
I would accept it, yeah, it's
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
It can differ from project to project how to analyze it, but basically interaction from project runners with their potential users, it's a very important thing to analyze here.
So, yeah, I guess lunch is upcoming soon, but if there's any short comment, Lijian, you would like to add, please go on. Or I guess we'll be around lunchtime, so please ask and grab after we're done with our meals. So, yeah, I guess we can talk more off stage now, right? So.